My neighbor has been abusing her 4-year-old daughter for months, and I did nothing to stop it. That sentence has been playing in my head every single day since the police came. I live right next door to Jenna and her little girl, Maya. For the longest time, I thought they were just a normal, struggling young family. Jenna was only 22, maybe 23, young, energetic, always dressed up, always smiling when you saw her outside. She had this way of turning on the charm, especially when she was filming those little social media clips with Maya. They'd sit on the porch in matching dresses, laughing into the camera like they were best friends. I used to think it was sweet, maybe even inspiring, seeing a single mom making the best of things. But when the camera was off, Maya was quiet. Too quiet. Sometimes, I'd see her clutching her mom's leg instead of running around like most kids her age. Other times, I'd catch glimpses of her peeking through the curtains, just staring out. And there were nights, not often, but enough, when I'd hear faint crying through the walls. It never lasted long, but it stayed in my mind longer than I care to admit. I'd tell myself kids cry. I'd tell myself Jenna was doing her best. I told myself a lot of things. It started off as small things. A thump, a muffled yell, then silence. At first, I didn't even think much of it. The walls in this building are thin. You can hear people arguing, TVs, music, dogs barking. It's normal. But sometimes it wasn't normal. Sometimes I'd hear Maya crying, and it wasn't just whining or tantrum crying. It was different. Longer. Softer. Like she was trying not to be too loud. A few times, I thought about knocking on the door. Once, I even got up and walked halfway down the hall before turning around. I told myself it wasn't my business. That I was overthinking it. Jenna could be so sweet when you saw her outside. She'd wave, say, "Hey, girl," all smiles, perfectly put together. And the little one was always right behind her, quiet, holding her hand. Still, there were nights I couldn't sleep. I'd hear the boyfriend's voice sometimes. Deep, sharp, always angry. I never heard what he said, just the tone. It made my skin crawl. One night, the noise got so bad that I muted my TV. It was like something fell. Then silence. Then, a few minutes later, laughter, adult laughter. Jenna's voice. His voice. Like nothing had happened. I remember sitting there, heart pounding, thinking something's not right. But then the next morning, she was outside filming a video, braiding Maya's hair, smiling like a perfect mom. And I let it go. Again. After a while, Jenna's social media started to take off. She'd filmed these little day-in-the-life videos, doing laundry, cooking, playing dress-up with Maya. Everything looked so bright and happy. Her captions were full of stuff like, "Young moms can do anything," or "My girl is my whole world." Sometimes she'd ask neighbors to like and share her posts to help her grow. I did once or twice. We all did. It was hard not to. She seemed like she was trying so hard to be a good mom. That's what made it confusing, because there were days when Maya looked off, tired, her hair messy. Sometimes I'd see her outside just standing there, holding a toy she wasn't really playing with. I remember waving once. She didn't wave back. She just watched me. Then a few minutes later, Jenna came out all smiles, scooped her up, and they took a selfie together. It became a pattern. Crying at night, perfect smiles during the day. And I kept letting the perfect version of her overwrite the bad feelings I had. She'd even post things like, "No one understands how hard single parenting is, but love makes it worth it." And I'd comment things like, "You're doing amazing, Jenna." Now I can't even look at those comments without feeling sick. That last night, I remember because I couldn't sleep. It was hot, and my AC was making this weird clicking sound. Around midnight, I got up to grab some water. That's when I heard it. Crying again. At first, I thought it was coming from outside, but no, it was next door. Faint, but steady. I stood there for a second, glass in hand, just listening. Then I heard Jenna's voice. Sharp, irritated. Then silence. I don't know why, but something in me wanted to knock that night. I even walked to my front door and stood there staring at hers. But I didn't move. I told myself maybe she'd just gotten frustrated. Maybe the kid wouldn't sleep. It wasn't my place. Then, maybe 20 minutes later, I heard the boyfriend's voice. And then laughter. Music. A door slamming. When I peeked through my peephole, I saw them heading out. Jenna in a short dress, her boyfriend with his arm around her. They were laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. I remember thinking, who's watching Maya? But I didn't see a babysitter. No one else came. I tried to tell myself, maybe someone was already inside. Maybe she called her mom or a friend. I turned off the lights and went to bed. I wish I hadn't. The next morning, I woke up to sirens. At first, I thought it was just passing traffic. But when I looked out my window, I saw them. 2 police cars, an ambulance, and a crowd starting to form. They were parked right in front of Jenna's apartment. My stomach dropped. I threw on a hoodie and stepped outside. The air felt heavy. No one was talking loudly, just whispering. The front door to Jenna's place was wide open. I saw one of the paramedics go in with a stretcher. Then another came out shaking his head. That's when I knew. I didn't need anyone to tell me. I just knew. A neighbor asked one of the officers what happened, but he wouldn't say much. Just that there was a child involved. Someone else mentioned seeing Jenna and her boyfriend pull in a few minutes before the police arrived. Said they were both crying, yelling at each other. I couldn't move. I just stood there, watching everything happen like I was outside of my own body. When they finally carried out the stretcher, I turned away. I didn't want to see. I went back inside, sat down on my couch, and just stared at the wall. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. All I could think was, I heard her crying last night, and I did nothing. The news spread faster than I could process it. By that evening, the whole neighborhood knew. Jenna and her boyfriend had been arrested. The official story came out in pieces, first from a reporter standing outside the complex, then from the whispers online. The police said the little girl had been left alone overnight. No food. No one checking in. When they came back the next morning, she was gone. At first, the boyfriend claimed he didn't know. He told police it was an accident, that Jenna had been too strict sometimes. But then Jenna confessed. She told them everything, or at least enough for the charges to stick. I sat on my couch for hours just listening to the TV, hearing her name, seeing her picture flash across the screen. The same face I used to see smiling outside, posing with her daughter for videos. They showed clips from her social media, her laughing, hugging Maya, talking about motherhood. It made me sick. People online were calling her a monster, saying things like, "How could no one notice?" I turned off the TV. I couldn't take it, because I did notice. I just didn't do anything. It's been months now, but I still can't sleep through the night. Sometimes I wake up thinking I hear crying again, faint and far away, like it's still coming from the other side of the wall. The apartment next door is empty now. The blinds are drawn, the number plate's still a little crooked from when the police were there. Every time I pass it, I look at that door and wonder how many times I could have knocked. People keep saying it wasn't my fault, that I couldn't have known, that I shouldn't blame myself. But that doesn't feel true. I did know. Maybe not everything, but enough. Enough to feel it in my gut that something was wrong. I tell myself if I just called someone, the cops, child services, anyone, maybe things would have been different. Maybe Maya would still be here. Now, I sometimes write her name, sometimes. Just her name. Like, maybe writing it keeps her from disappearing completely. If you ever hear something that doesn't feel right, a child crying too long, too often, please make the call. Don't second guess it. Don't wait like I did. Because silence is what killed her. And I'll carry that silence for the rest of my life. That's it for today's story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily threads, and drop a comment to let me know your thoughts. See you in the next one.